I'm Connie Rogers, and I am the Executive Director for the Georgia Pest Control Association. I am in my 30th year, and on my right is Christina. Christina has been with us 13 years, and Michelle is on my left, and she's been with us about 3.5 years. When you call, one of these two ladies are probably who you're going to speak to. We thank you for being a member of GPCA, and if you need anything at all, don't hesitate to give us a call.
I'm Stuart Senyard, outgoing chairman of the board for GPCA. I'm with Adams Exterminators out of Albany, Georgia. I've enjoyed my last 4 years with GPCA on the executive board, learned a lot, enjoyed the great company I've had, and look forward to seeing what these guys do in the future.
I'm Scott Eubanks with Northwest Exterminating, past president. I just want to congratulate all the officers for a great year, especially Gary on being president. Some tough times with the virus and all going on, and he done a fantastic job. And looking forward to next year. Thank you.
I am Rick Bell with Arrow Exterminators. I am proud to be here at the installation of the officers for the 2020-2021 year of GPCA. Obviously, I would prefer to be standing on a stage at the Cloister on Sea Island, but in light of recent events, we're here at GPCA to do this induction and put in a little plug for the Guardians group, which I'm a co-chair of along with Chuck Carney. We're a very active group. Our membership is rising, and the purpose of the Guardians is to support this association. Obviously, with the advents of this year, it's a job whose time has come. So I would, if you've been considering the Guardians, I'd love to ask you to take a look and contact myself or Chuck Carney. We would love to talk to you about joining the Guardians and being part of the group. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Stuart Senyard, current chairman of the GPCA. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us in person today and also those attending via Zoom. It has been a pleasure to serve on the executive committee for the last 4 years. Building lifelong friendships with the leaders on this stage and folks throughout the industry has been a pleasure. I look forward to serving in any way I can in the future anytime asked. Gary, I'd like to turn it over to you for your parting words as president.
Thank you, Stuart. Good afternoon, everyone. I have to put on my readers these days. I'd like to start by thanking Northwest for allowing me this opportunity to serve for the last 5 or 6 years, actually 9, I think I've been volunteering. So Stephen, thank you very much. I really appreciate that opportunity. I'd like to thank my wife and my family who have supported me through all of these endeavors. And Nancy's, we've been married 38 years, and as you know, they call her Saint Nancy because she's put up with me that long. So, and a title well earned for her. So it's been an eventful year. And as I reflect on this year, I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to serve as president of our association. This has been a rewarding experience and has allowed me to grow personally and professionally. I've been blessed with a great executive team who've provided nothing but support throughout the year. And it's been a great pleasure to work with each of you, and I consider you all my friends. To our allied members, to our region directors, to all of our committee staff, committee reps, I just want to say thank you. It's been an honor working with each of you, and you are truly the backbone of our organization. You make it happen. I just get to stand here and talk to people about it, so I'm very blessed, but I thank you all for what you've done for us. We returned from Washington, and right after that, as you know, the pandemic hit. Fortunately, our industry was declared an essential service, and I believe for the most part, our membership has not only survived, but it has flourished. These have been some challenging days, but the strength and can-do attitude of our membership has shown through. Education and advocacy for our industry are huge components for GPCA. But the relationships developed over time are by far the most important benefit, I think, to each of us. In reflection, we have accomplished many goals this year. We brought in top-notch speakers from across the country to participate in our conferences. We rolled out our GPCA healthcare plan to help our members. We also aided our members through our free education to help get hours needed to maintain their registration and certification during COVID-19. Our Guardians once again stepped up to support many of our initiatives this year. We also added several new guardians. Thank you to each of you for your continued support. I want to thank Connie, Christina, and Michelle for their dedication to the association. Typically, we'll have an award ceremony for the president. We thought about doing it here, but we decided it would be better and more appropriate, I feel, to have a luncheon so folks can be recognized in a little bit different way. So we will have that award luncheon on September the 18th at Seasons 52 at Perimeter Mall. They have assured us social distancing protocol will be observed and invitations will be going out soon to this event. I'm proud of what we've accomplished, and I know Brantley, Cliff, and Glenn are going to do an incredible job next year. I'm optimistic about GPCA's future and with the abundance of talent we have, we're going to be successful. It's been my honor and privilege to serve GPCA and its members. My prayer is that you and all your family members stay safe, healthy, and happy in these uncertain times. Thank you very much.
Well, Gary, thank you for the great words, great
Thank you.
speech. Appreciate you. The board has approved the following slate of officers. Brantley Russell as president, Cliff Baird as vice president, and Glenn Ramsey as secretary treasurer. Glenn, could you step forward, please, sir? I will read you the oath of office for secretary treasurer. Glenn, do you accept the responsibility to serve the members of the Georgia Pest Control Association in the office of secretary treasurer?
I will.
You will be a voting member of the board of directors and will be expected to serve the best interest of all the members and subscribe to the purposes of the association as outlined in the bylaws. You are asked to keep fully informed on all association activities and assist the officers and members of the board of directors and to accomplish specific responsibilities mandated by the president. Do you pledge to take this responsibility without reservation and accomplish the duties of this office to the best of your ability?
Absolutely.
Congratulations, Glenn.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to call Mr. Cliff Baird forward. I will now read you the oath of office for Vice President. Cliff, do you accept the responsibility to serve the members of the Georgia Pest Control Association in the office of Vice President?
I do.
In this office, you will perform the duties of the President in his absence. As Vice President, you are a voting member of the Board of Directors and must serve the best interests of the entire membership and subscribe to the purposes of the association as outlined in the bylaws. You are asked to keep fully informed in all aspects of the association and assist the officers and Board of Directors as deemed necessary by the President. When you complete this term as Vice President, you will automatically become President for a full term unless you choose to vacate the office or have been disposed. Should the office of the President become vacant between elections, you will fill the vacancy and complete the President's term. Do you so pledge?
I do.
Congratulations, Cliff.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman. Gary, will you assume the responsibility to serve the members of the Georgia Pest Control Association in the office of Chairman of the Board?
I will.
As Chairman of the Board, you will be a member of the Board of Directors and serve the best interests of all members of the association. It is expected that you fully understand and subscribe to the purposes of the association as outlined in the bylaws, and that you assume this office freely and without reservations. It will also be your responsibility to keep fully informed on all aspects of the association and perform those duties directed by the President or mandated by the Board of Directors. Do you pledge to further the purposes and goals of the association and perform the functions of this to the best of your ability?
I do.
Gary, congratulations. All right, Mr. Brantley Russell. Our new president, Mr. Brantley Russell. I will read you the oath of office of president. Do you accept the responsibility to serve the members of the Georgia Pest Control Association in the elected office of president?
I do.
Will you do your utmost during your term of office to carry out the traditions of the association and serve the interests of the entire membership? And will you pledge to further the goals and purposes of the association as mandated by the board of directors, as outlined in the association bylaws?
I will.
Congratulations, Brantley.
Thank you.
Brantley, you may now take the podium for your presidential speech.
Well, thank you, Stuart. Tell you what, first and foremost, thank you. What an honor it is to be your president for 2020, 2021. Over the years, I've had the pleasure of watching and learning from many wonderful leaders we've had since becoming involved with this association. I can think back at times serving on committees with individuals like Cliff Nipper, Manuel Snipes, Charles Dixon, and Jeff Dunn, just to name a few presidents. Speaking of past presidents, today marks the 5th inducted GPCA president in a long history for arrow exterminators, starting with Ray Krim, Mike Warren, Rick Bell, and most recently Shay Runyon as president of our association. I've had the pleasure of working with each one of these great leaders and have learned and taken many courses of action on how to lead and direct from all 4 of these different wonderful folks. I want to personally thank the Thomas family, particularly Joe Thomas, along with Emily Thomas Kendrick, for the willingness and support to allow individuals from arrow exterminators to give back to such a great industry. In addition, a big thank you to Tim Pollard and Kirk Morris for the flexibility to manage the duties of GPCA along with the responsibilities of arrow exterminators. Last and definitely not least, my family. For the years they supported me in meetings and volunteering to help serve on different committees and roles with GPCA, and especially to my wife, Karen, who we've been going on this year in October, 30 years. Thank you for your support. I love you. This year marks the 70th anniversary for GPCA as the premier pest control association in the country, and it continues to lead the industry as for others to follow. As I begin this journey a few years back as Secretary Treasurer, one starts kind of planning and envisioning what the year as president is going to look like. Well, to say this year has been with many different obstacles and many new firsts, that's kind of an understatement, to say the least. Looking back earlier in this January, as Gary said, in our Winners Conference, who would have thought the challenges we all would now be facing was going to change how we operate not only as a business, but also every day in our personal lives. Basically, the world kind of pretty much came to a halt. Sports, travel, movies, events, they all seem kind of pretty much non-existent anymore. We saw parents who became teachers. We saw them, on top of their normal duties that they typically would do, had to teach their kids along with running a household, and a lot of uneasiness and uncertainty for everyone. Items such as toilet paper, paper towels, hand sanitizers, respirators, face masks all become scarce and in big demand. One-way signs in stores and things and words like social distancing and 6 feet apart became part of our everyday use that we see in our words and our actions. Many of us will and have become familiar with things like Microsoft Teams, Zoom, virtual platform conferences, and many other technologies that we started to hear about and are using more and more every day in our lives. Who would imagine that you go from a workforce that was primarily working in the office with settings to have to work from home and not having the interpersonal action that you see with family, friends, and coworkers, and not just for a week or two, but for months. I would like to thank our legislative committee co-chairs of Chris Gorecki, Bodine Senior, and Rick Bell, along with many others, on their quick action to deem our businesses an essential service this past spring. So thank you for our legislative committee. They do a tremendous amount of work behind the scenes year-round, keeping us updated on issues that can be tremendously impacted on our business. So a big thank you to you 3 guys for what y'all do for the legislative committee. Thank you. I'd also like to reflect a little bit on our executive committee and what we've kind of worked on this past year together as a team, starting with our past chairman, Stuart Senior, and now as we bring on our new Secretary Treasurer, Glenn Ramsey. A few years ago, Stuart started working on the pre-examination for the 10 hours, certified training in place, and so he was able to see that through as president eventually that we had. And Gary, during his time, he was able to bring along some health care benefits for our folks, and this was really the first opportunity not only for us, but as an association in the state, as an association group, to bring health care benefits to his members. And a lot of this we did it for primarily medium-sized companies and smaller companies that a lot of times don't have that advantage to get insurance benefits. And as our new Vice President, Cliff Baird, and I will continue to work on projects to stream things like reviewing and updating our bylaws with the help of our current co-chairs of this committee, Shay Runyon and Jeff Dunn. So thank you all for the work you're doing on that. I know we'll get back on track here soon with it. We've also added extra online training courses this year, providing over 900 hours of credit hours to our members at no charge during the months of April. During this past year, we also revamped the Train the Trainer program with the help of our Education Committee, spearheaded by Wally Holden and Allison Gilliland. So outstanding job to you, Allison. I know you're on the call as well to Wally. We've been able to offer Fourth Tuesday training as well as Cram Day, which was recently hosted by Jim Chase. And so if you know Jim, it was a little bit of a challenge at first, but we got it going, didn't we, Ms. Connie? And he had a ball with that, I think, his first Zoom meeting. And so we were able to offer that to our folks out in the field who couldn't come into the GPCA office like they normally do here. The Executive Committee continues to invest in technology to provide to our members and others the opportunity to get continued education safely and remotely with such features as Zoom, with the OWL that you see here in front of us for our board meetings and committee meetings, and other type of events which allow us to have individuals engage in meetings without having to make long trips like from Albany, Georgia, and other places. So hopefully this will allow us to get more members to be participating on the committees, but also be able to not have to kill a whole day just coming up for a 2-hour meeting. So we're excited about that. We're also looking currently at different platforms that allow us to provide virtual conferences in the future to our members and businesses, and we see this as a way to increase participation for folks who may not be able to come in person, but also to allow us to have a conference that can get opportunity for a lot of individuals and employees that may not be able to get them out in the workforce and leave the work area and come to a conference, be able to sit at their office and do this remotely and still get some of the quality education that we're going to offer through our hours, as well as from some of the best speakers in the industry. These are just a few highlights of what we're doing as an executive committee. It's all been active, very much behind the scenes, along with many others who serve on our multiple committees, along with our regional directors, to provide the best and up-to-date tools, education, benefits out there for our members. As I look back and kind of reminisce about the involvement with GPCA, and Carrie probably remember this, our first conference was attending up in Asheville, North Carolina at the Grove Park Inn. And so to feel and say that coming in part with GPCA was like being part of another family is an understatement. We were welcomed right in as we began to start new relationships and meeting folks from across the state of Georgia, along with meeting Valera Jesse and Connie Rogers, who eventually became our executive director when Valera retired. However, there's one individual I remember in particular wanting to meet and had heard so much about, and that person was none other than a gentleman sitting in this room today, Rick Bell. For those who don't know Rick, he's an icon in the industry. He was someone I really wanted to get to know and learn from, and I've had the pleasure not only getting to know Mr. Bell on a business level, but also as a personal level. I want to thank you, Rick, for your mentoring, for your guidance, for your leadership, but primarily for the friendship we've had over the last 15 years plus. So thank you, Rick. So in closing, I'd like to say thank you again for allowing me to represent you this year as GPCA president. I look forward to working with many of you in the months to come, and remember, we're in challenging times with many unknowns still ahead of us, but we will persevere and we'll come out better, not only as an association, but as individuals. As Thomas Edison said, our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always try just one more time. That's the promise I make to you, along with our executive committee, as it continues to be and lead GPCA as the best association in the industry. With that, thank you and have a great week.
Hello, my name is Glenn Ramsey. I work for Rollins Incorporated, Orkin Pest Control as well. I've been in the industry for about 15 years. I've been part of many committees throughout my time with the Georgia Pest Control Association and served as conference co-chairs and stuff. Looking forward to my time being your secretary treasurer. A little bit about myself. I have a wife, Jenny. We've been married for almost 8 years now, and one son named Dean. He's just turned 2, so we're going through the wonderful times of having a toddler running around the house. Again, looking very much forward to being your Secretary-Treasurer this year and what we can do with this industry moving forward.
I'm Cliff Baird. This is my wife Misty, our daughter Faith, and our other daughter Shelby. I'm your incoming Vice President for the GPCA, and I'm looking forward to a great upcoming year. Thank you so much.
My name's Gary Adams. I'm the current chairman of the board for the Georgia Pest Control Association. I'm married, been married 38 years. They call her St. Nancy because she's put up with me that long. We have 3 daughters and we have 3 grandchildren. I work with Northwest Exterminating, and it's been a great time here at GPCA. I've enjoyed my time as an officer, and it's been very rewarding both personally and professionally.
Hey, good morning. I'm Brantley Russell, and this is my lovely wife, Karen Russell. We've been married for 30 years. I currently work with Arrow Exterminators, and am now your incoming president for GPCA, and I look so forward to serving you all this year. We're really excited about the year that we have coming on, and I'm looking forward to just really doing the things that we need to do to keep GPCA the premier pest control association in the industry. Thank you.
I'm Philip Smith of Compass Pest Management. We're a proud member of the GPCA, and I'd like to congratulate our Assistant Branch Manager in Cornelia, Georgia, Cliff Baird, on being appointed as Vice President of GPCA. Thank you.
I want to say congratulations to Brantley Russell, who I think will do a great job along with the other officers.
Hey Brantley, congratulations on being named president, and so excited to be here with you today as you're getting inducted. Looking forward to a great year.
Congratulations to Brantley Russell on becoming the president of the Georgia Pest Control Association. Brantley, we are so proud of you, and Arrow has a rich history and tradition of supporting the association, has had numerous presidents over the years, numerous folks in support of the association and the industry, and Brantley, we know you're going to do a fantastic job and just want to say congratulations, well done.